So, what's the general time? Do I just start up with a Dhamma talk, or should we sit quietly for about 10-15 minutes? Yeah. Right, okay. Sounds good. There's people still coming, so why don't we just sit quietly? Yeah. Calm our mind down for the Dhamma talk. Sometimes the mind can be busy, so a good way to kind of center it is to focus on something wholesome. So today's object of wholesome contemplation is like a mantra. I'm okay, the world is okay, everything's okay. Sometimes we can give way to worries and anxieties about what the future may bring, or regrets or remorse about what the past. One way to allow those things to fade away and to come into the present moment is to say to yourself, everything is okay. Right now, it's good enough. Whatever duties we may have early in the day, what others that's left to be done later in the day, we let that be for the moment. Now is the time just to rest in the moment, to relax, to enjoy the here and now. I'm okay. You're okay. The world is okay. Everything has its place. Everything that is here and now has come through causes and condition and belongs here. The good, the bad, and the ugly. It's our job to accept and to learn from everything that's around us. That way we can rest and be at peace. Always to need to change the world around us, change ourselves, or change people. Just live in peace. Okay, on the count of 3, we can open our eyes and come out the meditation. 1, 2, 3. So, good evening everybody. Welcome to NDR. Hi. Can't remember when was the last time I was back in Singapore. It must be I think more than 10 years ago. I used to come more at the invitation of the BF, Buddhist Fellowship, I think, with I was staying at Ubon Monastery. Come in there. But then we moved to New South Wales and started up just took over another monastery. So I've been busy trying to look after that and have been traveling so much. Yeah. So I thought it'd been a while, so we came back at the invitation of an old friend who used to be a monk in Perth. Yeah. So just like that, it's been 11 years. And yeah, so time passes very quickly for most of us. And yeah, it's good to keep that in mind. Sometimes we get busy with the day-to-day, work, responsibility, looking after the family, looking after the kids. And before we know it, 5-10 years is gone. And we get older and older. And life only goes one way, right? Rushing headlong towards the wooden box. And as practitioners, Buddhists, it's good to reflect, why was I here? What is important in life? Yeah. What qualities, what beautiful, what benefits should we cultivate? What spiritual qualities that's important to cultivate? Instead of just going through the motions of what people tell us, getting jobs and families and careers and going on holidays. Is that all there is to life? So as time is passing by, it's good to recollect that we're not sure. We think generally the old people are going to go first. But you never know. Because as the monks, we get lots of requests to do chanting for sick people, for people who are dying. It's not always the young ones. It's not always the old ones that we chant for. Sometimes, people can be really well. There's an Indonesian man who comes to the monastery a few times a year, very devoted, very nice guy. And just 6 months ago, realized he went to the doctor, the usual, for a routine checkup. Discovered he had pancreatic cancer, and now he lost like 12 kilos, and quite in a lot of pain. And looks like his days are pretty much numbered. And so you never know. So it's good to always live your life in a way that is to honor that. To make sure that you realize that life is precious, and we're here to cultivate something. We're here to devote what energies we have towards cultivating wholesome qualities, cultivating generosity, cultivating forgiveness, cultivating peace, cultivating wisdom. Those are something that we can take along with us in our next lives, in the future. The rest of the stuff, the family, they're nice, but you can't take them along. The kids, the degrees, the nice cars, they all have to stay behind. They're nice to have this lifetime. A lot of those stuff you can't take them along. So it's good to understand that clearly, and to bring to mind from time to time. Not to say that we're discarding our family and responsibility, but to know that there are limits to having them. And that not only when we cultivate, when we practice, we cultivate wholesome qualities, it's just not for our benefit, but also the benefit of people around us. So that's why the spiritual path is a beautiful path that brings not just benefit to yourselves, but to others around us, to society. And it's many things. It's a gradual path, something that you have to do gradually, day in, day out. It's like a marathon. It's not a sprint that you rush in and then it's over with. The spiritual path is every day you got to wake up, determined, today I'm going to do something wholesome. Today I'm going to cultivate generosity, cultivate forgiveness, cultivate patience, cultivate peace and wisdom, cultivate determination, truthfulness, all the 10 spiritual qualities. It's not like we have to do all 10 every day, but it's like there's always something we can do, something wholesome. Even if you're sick, you can cultivate patience. In a situation when you can't do much, well, just cultivate acceptance, surrendering. So life is always a series of things, of tests, that allows us to use our intelligence and wisdom to learn and to progress. And I've seen, even though I'm sure you get lots of regular visits of lots and lots of monks coming through, saying the same thing over and over again. Cultivate sila, cultivate sila is ethics, moral conduct, practice meditation, develop the mind, and then cultivate wisdom, the clear seeing that allows you to let go of suffering. Yeah, that's what the Buddha taught, just that much. But it's the day-to-day practice, the day-to-day putting forth the effort, day-to-day just pulling back, being aware of what you're doing, being clear, being in the present moment. And we have to keep reminding ourselves, really. Yeah. So practice is not very complicated, but we do have to have the intention, the enthusiasm, the energy to do it day in and day out. Just cultivate, Just ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I here? And how many more days left do I have? It's never a sure thing. Yeah. Sure, we live in a peaceful place, fairly healthy. So the odds are could be going for a while, but you never know. Lots and lots of things can come through. So it's always the kind of the studying the Dhamma, but also putting that to practice on a day-to-day basis. Bringing the Dhamma just enough from the books over there to bow to them, to prostrate in front of your books, but to take what you learn from the books into your daily life. That's what I found very inspiring from the forest traditions, especially about Ajahn Chah. He always taught Dhamma in a way that make it very applicable to daily life. He always asked, where is the suffering? Is the suffering in the books? Suffering in the houses? Suffering in the earth? No, the suffering is in here. So what do we need to do to get rid of that? Yeah, suffering is in our own heart. And until we apply the Dhamma in the right way, suffering was going to stay there. Yeah. But that's the beauty of the practice though. Only we can do it ourselves. And when you apply the Dhamma the correct way, suffering disappears naturally. So that's how you know that practice is going the right way. There's a sense of well-being, sense of peace, sense of happiness that arises naturally. Sense of confidence that we have what it takes to develop the path and the fruit. Yeah. But also, of course, listening to good teachers, to monks and nuns who are inspiring, also provides a lot of inspiration. Allows us to continue walking the path, regardless of all the obstacles that we may face. So the path is, like I said, in terms of from my perspective, it's not complicated. It's just the fact that we just have to renew our effort, renew our determination on a day-to-day basis. To always continue. And you see over the years, coming back, we get a little bit of the news on what's happening in the Buddhist scene in the last 11 years. Some people, is developing. Some groups are splinter off and doing different things. And some people move away completely from Buddhism. And that's just the nature of things. It changes. But hopefully each and every one of us, the practice don't look after yourselves. We have to renew our effort each and every day to walk the path, one step at a time. And it is like a long journey home. Oh, another good simile that Ajahn Tan used. It's like digging for water, right? You hear in the old stories, the old people, it's written in the books, that the water underneath the ground. It's written in the books, that's right there. So, some people read the books and they start to dig. They dig for about an hour or two. And they find that the earth is very hard. It's very dry. They don't see any water. And they're getting tired, getting hot. The doubt starts to arise. They say, no, maybe it's an old book. Can't tell whether it's a book of fiction or non-fiction. Maybe it's a book of fiction. It's not real water. So they go dig another hole. They dig for another few hours. Still no water. And they realize, So they go dig for somewhere else. No water. So they start to talk among themselves. Maybe this was true many years ago. But right now, these days of climate change, there's no water to be found anywhere. But then you have other people who also read the same books. And they get the equipment and they start digging. And after a few hours, they get tired. But they still have a lot of faith and inspiration. And they rest. But they still think there's still water. The book says there's water, have faith. These old people say there's water. I know there's water in here somewhere. So they rest for a while, but then tomorrow they continue digging the same hole. Dig further down. Earth gets a bit harder still. There's still no water. But they're like, no, I know there's water somewhere. My gut instinct tells me there's water. I just have to dig deeper. So they continue digging deeper, day in, day out. When they're tired, they rest. But they keep digging. Some days they dig a lot. Other days they get distracted. They get very tired, so they take a few days rest. They dig just a little bit. And eventually, they dig deep enough. They don't go to different holes. They strike. It gets more damp, more wet, and they hit water. Yeah. So the same with our practice. There is the fruits of the practice. There is samadhi. There is panya. There's nibbana. But we have to have the faith to continue with the practice. Continue with the same hole. But these days, the different holes are the different practice, different techniques. You dig for a little, you scratch the surface, then you go scratch another surface. So most people dig like 50 holes. They don't dig very deep. And they say there's no water. Say I dig 50 holes, there's no water. I practice with all these different meditation masters. And there's no fruits of practice. Yeah, because you keep changing the holes. The main thing is pick one and stay with it. And don't lose faith. Have the faith and trust, the inspiration to continue walking. Yeah, as long as you don't give up, no matter how many times you fail, how many obstacles you meet with, as long as you persist, as long as you continue. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year you get to samadhi. Maybe not this lifetime, maybe next lifetime. If you continue walking the path, eventually you get there. Yeah. But a lot of time Buddhism, luckily, is not just about faith and believing that you get there at the end. Hopefully as you practice generosity, you cultivate peace and stillness, simplicity, you start to experience the fruits for yourself. You start to know, to feel what's it like to have a clearer mind. What's it like to offer the gift of harmlessness to others, to other beings? What it feels like to have good samadhi. And when you get to experience those kind of joy, the simple joys of simplicity, simple joy of honesty, living an uncomplicated life, you see that there's an increasing sense of well-being and happiness in your mind, in your heart. And you know that eventually, these things, these beautiful states of mind that the meditation masters talk about, that's there for each and every one of us to experience. We just have to persist, to focus, and to rouse the energy day in and day out. And it's something that each and every one of us have to do for ourselves. All the monks and nuns can do is to remind you, to inspire you, and to encourage you to walk the path. Ajahn recently visited Australia, and it was very beautiful in how he said it. He says, if I can do the work for you, I would, but I can't. Yeah, if I can conquer the kilesa in your mind, I would. I would do it all for you right here, so you can attain Nibbana, and you can go and enjoy life and go to work. But I can't. You have to do it for yourself. Yeah. But it's also a great thing that he said, that we have what it takes to really conquer our own defilements. We have all the tools. We just have to apply it. The day in, day out. It's just like wearing away thing, just gradually filing away. It doesn't have this huge battles, it's just the small battles of, forgiveness, letting go, acceptance. The battle of a bit more patient, allowing people to cut into you when you're driving down the freeway, not honking. Paying compliments to the people around you. Be a bit more gentle, a bit more thoughtful. People you live with, people you share the earth with. Just little things like that builds up the momentum. So I just want to kind of just come here and encourage people that it is a beautiful path of peace and stillness, path of joy, but it's something that we each have, and every one of us have to do for ourselves. No one else can do for us. And it's kind of a day in, day out, but it doesn't have to be a grind. When the mind is clear and bright, every day is a beautiful adventure. Every day you just see so much beauty, so much brightness in the world around us. Yeah. That when we're happy and we're calm, we can pass that beauty and joy to others around us. So we want to spread Buddhism, spread the teaching of the Buddha, to be an example of peace and stillness, be examples of kindness and gentleness. That you don't have to pass any free books around, you don't have to encourage people to get any talks. They want to go, they want to do what you're doing, because they see how happy you are and how peaceful you are. But you're not happy, you're grumpy, you're tired, you're disappointed. No matter how many books you give people, they're not going to read it. You say, you've been meditating all your life. And you don't look very happy, so why should I do that? I'm going to go to the shopping mall instead and go watch a movie. Watch the latest adventure movies or something. So that's the little talk tonight about just kind of walking the path on a day-to-day basis to find inspiration, determination, the energy to do it day in and day out. And it's something within each and every one of us, within our capability. You don't have to ordain, you don't have to be a monk or a nun in a monastery to practice. Luckily for the Buddhism, you can practice anywhere and any time. And Singapore is a very calm country. There's a few distractions for you to keep you going, but it's also a quiet place for you to practice as well, if you're focused. Yeah. So I offer that for your reflection tonight.
Okay, we say 3 sadhus. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So I think we open up for Q&A.
Yes, I'll make questions. Yes, I think we're 2 hours behind, so it's actually 10 o'clock in Sydney time. So luckily I'm giving the talk, otherwise I'll be falling asleep here.
Any questions?
Yes.
So what is the point of life?
Huh?
Very often we get questions asked about rebirth, about karma. It's probably harder for Westerners to decide, to grab the idea of rebirth. But so my question is, what is the point of life then?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's something that I think we each have to answer for ourselves. Yeah. And it's a good open-ended question. There's not specific, and the answer can change at different times in your life. Yeah. But it's a good question that keep asking, what is the point of my life? Why am I here? And then just, without any specific agenda, just to see what comes back from time to time. We have a kind of a peaceful meditation, a quiet moment. Keep asking yourself that. Why am I here right now? Yeah.
It's constantly changing.
It is constantly changing, and that's fine. Yeah. But it's also, sometimes it points to, a lot of time when the mind is peaceful, it points to something, like that you generally don't think about as well. Yeah. Something others come up.
The answer is, the pointlessness of it all. And that begs the question, why then is human life precious? I mean, I guess what I'm getting is, how do you justify to people around you who loves you, your family, your friends? And it just all sounds really depressing to them, But it may not be for me, but it may be for them. So it's not. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay. No, I think life is, just because it changes and it's impermanent, doesn't mean it's pointless. There's a difference. We're here to, sometimes it can get a bit hokey and spiritual, but we're here to learn something, to cultivate wholesome states. We're here so that we don't have to be here again in the future. Yeah. So every one of us is working towards ultimate peace. So that's why we're here. I mean, yes, people we meet or will change, we will change, but hopefully we're cultivating spiritual qualities. And when that comes to fruition, then we don't need to be here. So we're all, in a sense, in a classroom, just trying to cultivate, trying to learn from life. And when you learn enough, you learn your lessons, you pass the test, you don't come back. But until then, you're doing the test over and over again. Did you get it right? Yeah. So that is, from a Buddhist perspective, that we're here to cultivate wholesome qualities. Yeah. So when people annoy you, it's not their fault. And it's non-self. They're there to offer you the lessons of patient endurance, of acceptance, of learning to live with differences, learn to live with difficult people or difficult situations. Yeah. Ajahn Chah's famous phrase is, when you have wisdom, true wisdom, there is no problem. So if you have a problem in your life, good reflection. What is it that I'm missing? What is it that I'm not seeing clearly? Because when you see clearly, there is no problem. Yeah. It is that we're not seeing clearly that there's a problem. It's we want something that life cannot give us. That's the problem. The problem is not having an annoying husband. The problem is not having an annoying boss. The problem is not having an annoying friend. The problem is we want them to be different. Yeah. So once we accept things for the way they are, then there's no problem. Problem fades away with true wisdom. So we're here to learn from life. cultivate deep peace and stillness, and the wisdom to ultimately transcend all suffering. Yeah. But it's not for, it's not going to be fast or easy. It's a gradual, it's a marathon. But you keep on running, keep on walking, keep on moving. As long as you don't stop, you'll get there eventually. And on a day-to-day basis, yes, we move, we change, and there's a lot of injustice in the world, but any act of kindness, act of gentleness, that it gives meaning to life then and there. It matters to the people around us, whether we're kind and gentle to them. Sure, in the whole scheme of things, everything's in a drop in the bucket, in the ocean of life. But for the people around us, that person that you're nice to, that person that you give care and attention to, it makes a difference in their life. And you can see that. Any other questions or comments? Yes?
Would you mind sharing with us your personal reason why you decided to ordain? How and why you decided to ordain?
How and why I ordained? Yes, I haven't been here 11 years, so I guess I can retell it. Otherwise, people find it very boring. As some of you may know, I grew up with a Catholic background. My parents are Catholic. Well, my mother's more Catholic anyway. And my path to Buddhism is by chance, actually. A friend was spending some time, in Thailand. I was working in Thailand at the time, and American friend of mine, came visiting Thailand, and he visited Thailand for many times. So he's bored with the beaches and the bars after a while. So I want to do something different. So he read in the newspaper that you can be a monk for 2 weeks. So he wanted to do that. That way he can take some pictures. That was before the pre-selfie, but you still can take pictures and show your friend what he did. Yeah. So he's not particularly Buddhist, so he didn't do much research. He didn't know that it was really, really boring in the monastery, he said. You can't watch TV, can't eat dinner, no music. Wake up really early. So after a few days, he was pretty much over it. But he couldn't get out for another 10 days. So he's stuck in the monastery. So then he called me. He said, I'm really bored here. Why don't you come and keep me company? Yeah, so I came and keep him company. At the time I was working in banking. And I met this English monk who, I think he must know I was a bit curious about what's Buddhism and what's meditation about. And he saw that and he knew I was from the banking, so he played on my greed. He said, "You're really, really good meditator. You can see the future." Then I was really interested. It's like, okay, I'm gonna really, really meditate this time. Yeah. So so that's mainly my introduction. That. But luckily things came together. That during that time, the stock market in Bangkok kind of crashed. There wasn't a whole lot to do, so I said I'll take a year out to learn meditation. That way I can do better with my stock picking, and then I'll go back. Yeah. So initially my intention to join the monastery was just to learn meditation, and they said you don't have to be a Buddhist to do that. Anybody can do that. So I thought, I can do that. But also the thing that struck me as well with Buddhism was that the monk explained about the law of karma. Like Catholicism, there's a God who sits there and takes notes and everything. But in Buddhism, it's more explained as more of a law. Like the law of gravity. You might not feel or see it, but it applies to everybody. Yeah. So if you do good, goodness comes to you. You do evil, you have to repay that in the future. It's not a person, a being, but it's just a natural law. Something that I felt kind of resonated with. Yeah, I didn't feel very good that there's there's some a God up there taking notes about everything. But a natural law that applies to everybody. Because the idea is that we pray and how do you know which why should God give me what I want instead of the other people? There's 5 billion people in the world. How does he choose who do you give to? But the law of that, goodness comes back what you put out, and the payback. If you do something evil with bad intention, that also comes back to haunt you, as well. I felt resonate with, really, yeah. So my intention was just to join the monastery for a year to learn meditation, really. And 1 year led to 5 years, and 5 years leads to about 20 years, yeah. So as mind became more peaceful, I realized I didn't need to be so successful. I didn't need to be a billionaire to be happy. I can be happy just the way I am. Yeah. So mind became more peaceful. It didn't want to really go back to the world. And as my family visited me in the monastery and they see living a simple lifestyle, healthy lifestyle, then they began to be more encouraging. But in the beginning, of course, they don't know much. They weren't they're very, very skeptical. Yeah, they thought it was some kind of cult. What? No eating in the afternoon, no music, no sex. Something definitely is wrong. But my parents visited in Wat Pah Nanachat in Thailand. Yeah, going on alms round every day, living in the hut, simple huts, and eating just in the morning, 1 meal a day. Yeah, they said, oh yeah, this is very, very, very simple. Obviously, they would like it better if I become a priest, but by then it was like I said, well, I would, but this God thing is a bit of a problem. So, but never mind. Yeah. So everybody has a different journey. And like I said, I think I was lucky in the sense that I didn't have any much expectations about what I was going to do with my career as a monk. I thought just take it a year at a time and see what happens. Yeah. So then I didn't, sometimes I hear people go to a monastery and they say, okay, I'm ready to be a monk, I'll give up everything. And then a lot of your attachment comes up. Because when you think, I'm never going to do something, then you really want to do it. Yeah. I'm never going to eat in the afternoon again. I'm never going to go to the movies again. And you're like, oh, I don't know, I want to give this up yet. Yeah. But if you say, okay, I'll do this for a year and then see what happens. That's why I told myself, I'll do this for a year. And after a year, I'll eat as much as I want, whenever I want. Whatever. And then so it's fine. Yeah. And then with anything, it must be some kind of past karmic inclinations. Yeah. Because like I was telling somebody, when I met with Buddhism, within a month I was in a monastery already. Yeah. I never looked back since. But it's always a path of, you do better meditation, things feel calmer, there's a natural joy and happiness arising. If you like what you're doing, there's no need to change it. Yeah. I never had the urge to change what I'm doing. After my visit, there's always the usual question from my brothers and sisters, when are you going to be normal again? When you come out. And I tell them, you do anything interesting, I'll come back. They haven't done anything interesting. They've got jobs, they got promotions, and they've got layoff, and they've got wives, and they've got divorce, and they've got kids. It's the same things. Nothing's changed. They have big houses, now they're downsizing, so yeah, back and forth. It's just, the ups and downs of samsaras. Things come and they go. Yeah. Yep. But luckily these days you don't have to be monks to practice. There's lots of meditation groups and places in Singapore where, and that's the main thing. I encourage people to try to be active in them. That way you have friends who are kind of going the same directions. Because sometimes, in the West, it could be, in places like Australia, and everybody's going in a different direction. It could be hard. So it's good to have friends who are interested in meditation, interested in Buddhism, interested in keeping the precepts. That it helps to encourage you, to keep you focused as well. Yeah. Yeah, friends who are just wanting to go on holidays and shopping and doing this and that, then the mind eventually goes that way as well. Yeah. So the Buddha said, good friendship is also very important in the spiritual life. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
I would like to ask how we can learn to detach from self.
You learn to what?
Detach from self.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, how we can learn that. Or contemplate how we do it.
Detachment happens naturally when you see clearly. It's only we don't see clearly that we attach. But when you're in simple contemplation they can use on the day-to-day basis is just kind of with a lot of time working with memories. You remember when you're a little kid. Yeah. You know, a 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 20-year-old. Where is that now? Yeah. So this body just evolves and changes over time. And we've got some control over it, but not total. And it changes by itself. And you know, for modern science, you know, the livers and the heart, it pumps blood, it, you know, soaks up nutrients, and it transfers the waste, and it moves all that by itself. We don't have much control, much to do with any of that. Yeah. So a lot of time with, you know, so much of ourselves is in the body. So you can see that process happen naturally without much involvement from us. Sure, we can move our hand and, you know, move our legs when we feel like it, but not all the time. So you see clearly and you can reflect over and over about these kind of natural processes of the body. Then you'll see that we have some control, but not a whole lot. Yeah. And sometimes, you know, more and sometimes less. When you know, feeling tired, you can't say, okay, have more energy. No, the body is just tired at the moment. Yeah, when you're sick, you have to, you know, nurture the body. Yeah, so you have to work with what you have. Yeah. You can't control it. So the more you see that it's just like a process and that you're not completely in charge, the more that you see the mind just lets go naturally. That you look after the body the best you can, but then you don't worry so much about it. Yeah. You know that it can never be completely comfortable. You do the best you can, but there's always a bit of ache, bit of pain, bit of sickness here and there. Yeah. And that's part of it. And then the other thing about, you know, detachment from the self is that the bigger sense of self you have, the more suffering that brings. You think you're the smartest person in the room, and you see someone who's say something a bit more clever, you're like, damn, I should have said that. Yeah, so there's always this worrying about, you know, to how to protect yourself. Yeah. Someone insults you, you get very worried. Someone calls you stupid, it really annoys you. Yeah, you're like, oh, so when you get thrown off, when you get offended easily, there's a good reflection. Okay, why am I so attached to my reputation, to these things that you know that I can't control, that thing that changes? Yeah, why must you know why I'm so? And the more you see clearly that these things you have so little control over, then the mind just lets go naturally on its own. Yeah. So seeing clearly is the first step in letting go. Yeah, it's a natural process. You don't see clearly, you will attach. Yeah. It's like, you know, holding a red, you know, kind of a hot piece of red coal. It's burning, but a lot of people don't notice it, so they keep holding on to it. But if you notice it's a red piece of coal, it's hurting, you drop. Yeah, it's like touching an oven. No one says, oh yeah, can you show me how to not touch a red oven? No, the mind, you know, the hand will jump away naturally when you touch something that's painful or red or burning. Yeah, it's the same. The self is a lot of suffering. When you see clearly, the mind will let go naturally. So sometimes when you say, okay, what is it I'm not seeing? Yeah. When you start to attach to something, what is it I'm not seeing clearly? Yeah. And then just to reflect on that and to see, you know, to use the wisdom to reflect on different ways that allows you to kind of to understand that, you know, things change. There's a lot of stress around holding it. Yeah. And we might think that there's a self convention, there's a self here, but ultimately we're just changing nature. The 4 elements are changing, the body's, you know, the liver, the heart, the skin is doing their thing. Yeah. We're just kind of inhabiting in this kind of space for the moment. Yeah. And you look around, you think really, well, we all know, but how deeply you think. We know that our kids aren't ours, right? That they come from you, but then they grow up and they have their own family, they move on. Yeah. And the bodies aren't really ours, it grows old, we can't control that. After a while, it stops working. Yeah, so we know on a certain level, but we don't know it super deeply. And that's why we keep holding on to it. Yeah? Okay. Yes.
My question is around good speech. Very often these days we're talking about free speech, especially in the West. And in the East it's less so, right? But in Buddhism practices we're talking about restraining speech and action and thoughts, obviously. So it's constant. It's always about kusala versus akusala.
Yeah.
And obviously we want to do our best to, cultivate the wholesome thoughts and speech. But sometimes it may be very difficult in practical terms. For example, if you go online, social media platforms is all international these days.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people you would have one group of people who say, this is my free speech, I should be able to say what I want to say, including nasty things.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the right to speech.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously on the eastern side of things, people might think that, okay, you have the right to use free speech, no matter how offensive it is, but I have the right to not be offended as well. Right?
Yeah.
That's also my right. So how would you advise someone whose mind and work, pretty much we're all connected online these days, so how would you advise someone to respond in this practical way?
Yeah, I think the Buddhists, there's many practices around right speech. And one is the Buddha encourages speech that would unite and not divide people. It's good speech. Speech that is truthful. Yeah, but just because in the name of truth you call someone fat or ugly, well, it's the truth, you are fat. That's not useful speech. Yeah, you can say other things that are less hurtful. Yeah, because sometimes we use the name of truth and, oh yeah, you're just a terrible cook and it's a terrible dish that you cook. That's not helpful. Yeah, and as practitioner, you have that sensitivity. You know that, yeah, okay, there's many ways, many narratives, and many ways that we use words or speech in a way that, be constructive. That's why there's thing as constructive criticism and not destructive criticism. Yeah. So we need to put feedback, but there's always a balance, because sometimes Buddhist practitioners, they don't say anything. It's like, well, how is so and so? Okay, they're not okay. They're they're really obnoxious person or whatever. Yeah. So sometimes you don't have to, when it's time to offer feedback, you can be truthful, but not hurtful. Yeah. And yeah, sure, it's always someone's right to use their free speech, but you can also encourage them that, yeah, you can say what you want, but your words have power to hurt or unite people. It's up to you. Yeah. So you want to use your word to be divisive, be obnoxious, and that's your right. But also knowing that the law of karma, whatever it is that you say with your, kind of angry intention, that'll come back to you in the future. Yeah. But our job as practitioner is to unite people, to be gentle. Sure, if there's something needs to be said, some criticism that are feel like that is justified, then we say in a way that doesn't offend people more. Yeah. You can say, well, so and so can be more energetic. You don't say he's worst, he's the most lazy person you ever met. You say, oh, so and so, can be more energetic. I just walked in and the room can be a bit more clean, but it's not there in the world. Maybe he's busy or something. Yeah, but you can say how it is, without disguising. Oh, it's the best person you met. That's not entirely true. Yeah. So sometimes Buddhists can be like that when you try, we try to get a reference for somebody. Why was this person fired? I don't know. And sometimes you do know. Yeah. So it's always a balance between obviously being truthful but not hurtful. Yeah. And giving constructive criticism and not destructive. So it requires kind of mindfulness and sensitivity. Yeah. To offer kind of a balance. And also when you do have to offer criticism, to make sure that you know how painful it can be for yourself when you receive it. So bring that sensitivity to offer that to others. That always kind of counter criticism with compliments as well. Because no one is 100% terrible or hopeless. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. So when you do offer criticism, offer something to balance it out. Like, this is not about who you are, but you could do a bit more mindful when you clean the toilets or whatever. Pick things up. And I also, like in the monastery, as an abbot, you always have to offer these things to and remind the people, dishes don't wash themselves, I know. They don't put themselves in the cover. They don't be clean automatically. Yeah. So things needs to be done. So we live in a community, it's good to be thoughtful of others around us. Yeah. It's just little things like that people, will start to pick up on. And it's all part of the training. To be aware, not just what we want, but how we affect people around us. Yeah. And with speech, especially with these days, with internet and social interaction, speech is really powerful because it goes everywhere instantly. It says a really mean thing, you can't take that back. It's out there for a long, long time. Yeah. So that's why these days a lot of chatter, a lot of noise. We could do with a bit more of kind of noble silence, I think. Yeah. So unless it's, and as a Buddhist practitioner, it's good to keep that in mind. Unless your speech is going to unite, going to inspire people, is truthful, then maybe it's best not to add to the noise. So many people already offering their 2 cents about everything. Yeah. That, we don't need to kind of add to that all the time. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, and that's why you look around, it's like, oh yeah, so-and-so already said that already, so I don't need to add to it. Yeah. So earlier someone said, well, do I have a book to put out? I'm like, no, I don't have a book. There's so many books out there already. There's so many monks, great monks with great books out there already that, that you don't need another book on the shelf. Any questions or comments? Yes?
Ajahn, I would like to ask, how can we practice Dhamma, like our daily life? Is it like puto all the time, or awareness of what we're doing all the time? But if we doing like too concentrate, I heard the story, some people actually like thinking of puto and then he actually lost the wallet.
They do what?
Yeah, he was concentrating on puto at a daily moment, and then he lost the wallet and he don't know where it is. What is the correct way of actually practicing like awareness of everything?
Yeah, it's always a balance in your life, but generally it's good to remind, like, where am I? So be aware of the body. Stay in your body. How's my body doing? How am I relaxed? Am I stressed out? Am I tight around my shoulders? Yeah. And also be what you're doing. If you're in a meeting, then be in the meeting. Be, kind of active. Contribute. Be there instead of Buddha away. Yeah. There is time and place. A lot of times you're sitting there not doing anything, then you can Buddha. Yeah. But in the meeting, Buddha. Oh, how's, what do you think about our new marketing plan? Buddha. You won't have a job for very long. Maybe that's what you wanted. Maybe you wanted to you wanted to become a monk, then that's what you do. But if you have a job, have a family to look after, then it's good to exercise wisdom, time and place. Yeah, there's time to be peaceful and there's time to be more active. Yeah, do plan, and that's a lot of time. Most of our job is we have to plan and organize and things. Yeah, that's what they pay us for. So we have to fulfill our activities. That's part of mindfulness as well. Knowing when to be peaceful and when to be active, when to contribute, when to participate in the activity that we're doing. So it's always, where am I and what should I be doing? That's they call sati panya, mindfulness and wisdom. Where am I, or what am I doing, and is that leading me to where I want to be? So in a meeting, then you should be there, you should participate in what they're talking about. And you're at home, then you don't need to worry about the meeting. That's gone already. Yeah, you don't need to worry about the future. You just need to stay. Yeah. So when you're in meditation, stay in the present moment. But a lot of times we're just never where we are. We're in a meeting, then we're drifting out with Buddha. And then we're in a meditation hall, we're thinking about work and meeting and home and lunch and holiday. Yeah. So mindfulness, satipanya, is ability to be, to tune into where you're at and where you should be. Where am I? Is that where I need to be? Yeah. So always kind of, where am I and where I need to be at the moment? Yeah. So that's all you need to do. Yeah. A lot of times just in the body, relax. Yeah. Or okay, yeah, I'm driving. Okay, yeah, I need to focus on the road. Is there an accident in front of me? Is it raining? Yeah, I'm going on the right road. Am I going a different road already? Yeah. Yeah. It's just this kind of simple awareness. Yeah. Mindfulness and awareness. Yeah. And gentleness. Accepting the present situation. Yeah. Not getting stressed over things. Yeah. Just calming down. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Ajahn, maybe I have a question.
Okay, yes.
So, I just started work for around 10 months, and I recognized that a lot of people are quite afflicted themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's easy for them to get into anger or paranoia or being in rush, like rushing to want to meet the boss's demands.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes the bosses also don't really make a lot of sense. And so my question is, how can we deal with these kind of energies? Because I find that as I get along with my practice, I become a bit more sensitive towards these kind of energies, but sometimes they affect me a lot, and I'm not sure how to be a bit more stable, in this environment.
It's some people do kind of pick up on the nervous energy, restless energy of others around them, but just be aware of you're that type and just kind of, it's okay. And also, kind of a lot of time is just prepping yourself. Like, work, office is usually, high intensity, high stress kind of level, and that's normal. It's okay. People need to do things. They need to, they think they can do out, and then you just first you accept that there's a certain amount of stress going to work, certain amount of stress trying to communicate with the boss who may not be in the same wavelength, but you do the best you can. Yeah, you don't expect him to totally understand you, and you understand, you accept that he's going to lose it from time to time. Yell at you, be short-tempered, but you see clearly it's usually a non-self thing. That if he's kind of hyperactive, he yells at everybody anyway. Yeah, it's not a personal thing. Yeah, so you don't take that anything personal. You do the best you can, and you said, this is what they pay you. They pay you 8 hours to, focus. Accomplish a few things, get along with the people as best as you can in the office environment, and just this is and it's all a practice. A bit more patient, a bit more acceptance, and just allowing things will go wrong from time to time. You get into arguments, but that's okay. This is normal. It all belongs. It's teaching you something to be a bit more, like I said, open. Be able to listen to different views and opinions. And to grow from all that. To learn to adapt to changing situation. Because at work it's true. You never control. Meeting, there's 10 people. It can go in all different directions, but that's okay. You're just aware. You do the best you can. Like I said, it's a great opportunity to practice your speech. So easy to have a one-liner and to cut someone down, but it's a bit harder just to restrain that, and then to give a thoughtful, caring response to things that you may not, be keen about. Yeah. So it is a great opportunity to practice in a group situation. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Can you share with us your experiences when you started off as a rookie in meditation? What were the obstacles that you faced? And as you progress, what were considered as your milestones in your meditation practice?
In terms of my meditation practice, I think in the beginning, I come from a very structured and disciplined background, so I quite liked the structure of the 10-day retreat that I did. Yeah, I did a 10-day retreat. I went to Wat Pah Nanachat. I said, yeah, I want to stay here for a year. And they said, you know anything about meditation? I was like, no. Oh, okay, why don't you go away, do a few courses first, then you come back. So they sent me away to do a 10-day course, meditation in Son Mok. Yeah, and I thought it was amazing. First 10 days, I've never been silent in my life. Never, not watch TV or listen to music. So all that kind of sense of restraint, I just really cleared my mind up, and that was amazing to experience the stillness. I remember tasting the food; everything just became so alive and so clear. Yeah, before it was just like I was just like sleepwalking through life, really running from one thing to the next. Yeah, so. And because I had no expectation, I didn't know what meditation is, what it would bring. So I think with no expectation, the mind became calm very quickly. Yeah, right, and a lot of happiness arose. Yeah, I was really surprised. Yeah, and so that made me really, really curious about meditation and really put a lot of effort into it. Yeah. So in the first years of novice, I did put a lot of effort in sitting and walking late at the night. I did a lot of dukkha vedana, a contemplation of unpleasant feelings, sitting for a long, long time. Yeah, but on reflection, I realized that sometimes it's like overly enthusiastic. There was a lot of wanting, a lot of craving, wanting to do more and more and push myself. Yeah, and that sometimes I was a bit like sitting a bit too long. Yeah, and pushing the body a bit too far. Yeah, but. In terms of meditation, it's just I recommend it's just putting in the effort, for meditate certainly as often as you can, given your situation, and then you'll find that the mind just settles down, and the happiness, the piti, the rapture will arise naturally in different ways. Yeah, and so much of it is just centering the mind in the present moment. Yeah. Just now, it's a sitting meditation. It's just happy just to be sitting. Whatever arises with the breath, the rapture, doesn't matter. I'm just happy just to be sitting still. Happy, just be in the moment. Yeah, and everything, and the mind will start to open up all by its own. Yeah, so I recommend people is no expectation. The mantra I encourage people to use is nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just happy to be here. And you'll find that the joy and the peace will arise naturally. Yeah, because sometimes these days, there's lots of books about jhanas and samadhi and different things. And then when we sit, we're not peaceful because we want all these things. We have all these agendas, all these jhanas that we got to get to, and all these nimittas you got to see, and the golden light and the purple light, or whatever it is that we read about. We start to think and compare. So we drag all these books into our meditation. That's not very peaceful then. Yeah. So meditation, remember, it's about letting go more. Not about getting jhana, it's about letting go of everything. And when you let go, these peace and samadhi starts to happen. Yeah. So that's a bit of a trick. That wherever it is that you want you'll see, call the walls wanting. Walls comes up right away. Whatever it is you want. I want to see this, I want to see that, I want all my thoughts to go away. You find out you start to think more. But it's just so a bit of trick is just happy just to be here. Really happy to be here. Just to rest, really. And you'll find that the mind will settle down on its own. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just whatever it is, you find yourself just happy. The mind's thinking, it's okay. It can think. Because it's been thinking all day long. You can't stop it thinking with willpower. Yeah? Okay, yeah, the mind's thinking, that's okay. I'm just, be with it. Be with the thinking mind. Be with the tired mind, the tired body. And that's fine. You'll find that once you allow things to be, things just settle down and the energy comes up naturally. Yeah. So with meditation is, just happy to be here. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. And things will start to calm down all on its own. Yeah. And the milestone, we can't talk too much about our milestones as monks, but generally things are, go in the right direction. More peace, more stillness. Thank you for your questions. 10 minutes. What is NDR anyway? Oh yeah, that's okay.
Shall we say 3 sadhus for the Dhamma talk and Q&A? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.